This is John T for the Boxing Voice. I'm joined today by English Middleweight champion Linus Udofia. How are you, Linus?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on. What have you been up to? You're obviously in lockdown like the rest of us. You've been training much?
Yeah, I've been in the gym. I've been back in the gym. I've been fortunate, really. Like the lockdown's really only affected me in the sense of I can't really go places. I can't really do anything, but I can go to the gym, But that's about it. I'm just training and waiting for some offers to come in. And yeah, it hasn't really affected me too much. So I've just been training and sleeping, really.
And you train in Luton, is that right? There's a professional gym there, so you can still train at the moment, yeah?
No, I train in Epping.
Oh, okay. So, whose gym is that? Or is it...
That's Well, that's my coach's gym. That's my coach's gym. In Essex, in Epping Forest. The name's been changed, so when they get a new name, I'll say.
That's really interesting. The reason I ask is because of the Peacocks, the only gym that I knew of in Epping. It's just around the corner, the new Peacock. So I was wondering if you've been down there at
Okay.
all. That's really, they used to
Never,
be in Canning Town, but they've moved over to Epping.
oh, never.
Yeah,
Where's
no,
Peacock at?
a new one in there. That's where Denzel trains, which I'm going to come on to Denzel in a minute because that could be a rival of yours. He's obviously just won his belt. So tell us a little bit about yourself. We've not had you on the site before, Linus. Your CV is fantastic, mate. You're 16-0. As I said, you're the English champion, so you're motoring along really well. You had a fight out last. I think you were on a matchroom card. So how was that?
Yeah, it was really good actually. I was up in your neck of the woods. That was in at the stadium at the Dazn Stadium.
That's
It was
right.
really good. It was really good. Really great experience being in the whole bubble situation and just being on such a card like that. It was really good. Really good experience. And it just felt right. Everything about it just felt right, And defending my title as well live on Sky Sports for all people that support me. Could see. So it was a really good experience.
Yeah, how was it fighting? As you said, you were fighting on TV on a matchroom card, which is brilliant, a great platform, but no fans there.
Um, it took me back to like a stage in the amateurs where you'd be at a leisure centre and it would just be you and your coach and a couple of people. It wasn't, it was all right. I didn't really notice it too much. If anything, it was like a somewhat of an advantage. Obviously, I would have loved fans there. I would have filled that place out. But it was a really good experience. Like it was really good. It was just really, I don't know. I felt like that fight went slower and I got to focus a little bit more. And it had its advantages,
Yeah, of course. So what's your agreement at the moment with Matchroom? Have you got more fights lined up with them?
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. I think it's just as it comes,
Okay, so you're waiting to find out about a fight. You obviously don't know who you're fighting yet, I take it, next.
No.
No worries. Okay. So in terms of your record, like I said, 16-0, there's some other fighters out there with similar records. So I've mentioned Denzel. He's just won the British title. He's undefeated as well. How would you see yourself faring in? Because that's naturally a step up, right? You've got Denzel at British. Yeah. How would you think you'd get on in a fight like that?
Yeah, good fight. That's a really good fight. It's just one of those, we all believe we can beat anyone in the division, and it's one of those things it's got to happen at some point. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like obviously I fancy myself, and he fancies himself, and it's just when that bridge comes, we cross it then.
Yeah, great shout. Anyone you would specifically want? So I've mentioned Denzel just because he's the next step up in terms of belt at British. You've got Felix Cash. He's got the Commonwealth belt. He fights under the Matchroom banner that you've obviously had some kind of relationship with recently with Eddie. What about that fight? Would that be a fight that interests you?
Look, all of it is interesting. All those belts, Commonwealth, British, and then moving up from that to European, EBU. And then moving on, but without thinking too far ahead, all those fights are interesting. It just depends what comes forward. It just depends what offers come. Because I understand there's a whole voluntary process, a whole I understand there's a whole process to it. So it's just kind of a waiting game and seeing whose door gets knocked on, in this division. And yeah, I'm interested in any of those belts. It's just, it depends on the offer. Eddie, after my fight, Eddie Hearn got asked, about my fight, and he said that'd be a great fight. Him and Felix would be a great fight in the future. So that might be something in the pipeline. Who knows? Who knows? That might be something in the pipeline. Any of it would be a great fight. I want both those titles at some point. I'd love to compete for both those titles.
Yeah, it's a thriving division at the moment in the English scene. As I've just probably mentioned 3 names there. Could chuck a couple more in a little bit further up. Maybe Liam Williams. He's still currently at middleweight. He's dropped, obviously, the British belt that Denzel and Mark Heffron fought for. There's another name there, Mark Heffron, in that division. So hopefully,
yeah, I've been coinciding with that name quite a lot recently. Actually, everyone's been saying Denzel and Felix fight each other, and then I fight Heffron, and what I mean. There's loads of people in division. It's a very stacked division.
Yeah, I'm pleased you've just said that, because what I don't want to do is speak out of turn and not get your record, give it any justice, because you've had 16 fights. Denzel's had less, for example, but it almost feels like now those two are on a collision path. One's got the British, one's got the Commonwealth. They have that. Mark Heffron did great in both fights against Denzel. The first fight was obviously a draw. Many people had him winning that. The second fight, Denzel clearly won and stopped him fair and square, but the eye Denzel caused that damage, but that had a bearing on the result for him. It almost feels that if you could come through maybe a Mark Heffron, that would be a good measuring stick as to where you're at, because
100%. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. And you beat someone like Heffron. Yeah, it kind of catapults you straight in there, and you're like, well, he can beat Mark Heffron. Denzel beat Mark Heffron. Why don't they measure against each other? 100%. I agree with you.
It's only so far, mate. People, I'm not saying anyone is avoiding you, but like I said, with that record of 16-0, people have got to start taking these fights sooner or later, because you're at that level now. And then once you get past them, as you said, you then start looking forward.
Yeah, well, we're in the climate. We're in a climate where you can't really, there's only so much you can slice and dice, like these fights are here, there's big opportunities. Obviously they've got to be the right opportunities, but there's big opportunities, I mean, I'm always up for opportunities. It's just got to be the right one, it's got to be the right one. And, only me, my management and my trainer know, which one's right or not. And, I mean, we're very patient. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes up. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 12 months?
Well, I think you're probably going to find over the next week a load of announcements on fight cards, like that maybe you'll have an opportunity to get on some of them. I think Eddie's got something planned for Friday night where he's announcing like a couple of months worth of shows. I'm not sure he'll be naming the whole card on it straight away, but that might give some opportunities. And equally, I'm sure Frank Warren will be doing exactly the same in the background, because boxing's been suspended, isn't it, currently? But Robert Smith from the British Boxing Board of Controllers said that will be back from mid-February. So it looks like we're looking for boom of boxing coming back. Well, look, it's great chatting about your career so far and what 2021 looks for you. While I've got you, what are your thoughts staying at the same weight? Chris Eubank Jr. signing with Sauerland. What do you think of his career and what might happen this year? Because he's probably number one still in the English rankings for middleweight.
I thought it was a bit of an interesting signing, but I understand, not to throw any shade or throw any negativity on that. It just, I know he's very difficult to work with in the past, not personally, but with a lot of promoters, he's been very difficult to work with. So it might be a situation where naturally everyone looks at it and goes, how long will that actually last? Because, he's been very difficult to work with, whether it's money, whether it's just, maybe whether it's just difficult, but it seems, it seems like it seems like a good shout, and I think I'm not sure what route they can go down. I'm not really sure what route they can or will go down, but it's it's built up a lot of traction. They both Eubank and Sauerland, it helps them both, doesn't it?
Of course,
as long as it works. So I don't know. I'm not sure what they're gonna. I don't know. I'm not sure what the plan is. I'm not sure what the plan is, where they're gonna go with that. But I think it's a good signing for either side. It gets them. It helps. They help each other. I'm not sure what Eubank could have really done any more on his own. I'm not sure what kind of opportunities he could have got on his own.
I think that's
No, I mean,
he's drifted from a couple of different promoters. That is fact. I mean, they're fantastic, the Sauerland brothers. So he's with good people. I have seen on social media, on Instagram, that they're trying to. I think Chris Eubanks wants to fight with Golovkin. Probably a few years after they initially thought he was going to have it when Kell Brook stepped in. How do you think he would fare if he fought a Golovkin now?
He still loses, in my opinion. Golovkin's too seasoned. Golovkin won't get beaten by an engine. You know what I mean? Golovkin will get beaten by someone, well, Canelo, you know what I mean? Someone with incredible boxing IQ, and do you know what I mean? Someone that can stand there with him and, you know what I mean, take some power and give some back. And Chris Eubank, yeah, he's a tough kid. He's got good fundamentals, but Golovkin, I think, beats him on the jab alone.
Excellent. Cool. Well, look, thanks for that. We look forward to your year being great so that you can start mixing it with these names and get in with them maybe at the back end of the year or 2022. Thanks for taking time out to chat to us, Linus. And we'll pop down and see you when things are a little bit easier down your gym in Luton, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that sounds good, mate.
Cheers, Linus. Thanks a lot, mate.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.